So I can kind of gauge who we're talking to here. How many of you have played around with AI so far? Awesome. So most of you. I gotta tell you, in this presentation, everything was created with AI. Last night at about 10 o'clock, I deliberately didn't prepare anything for this, knowing that I was going to prove a point. So about 10 o'clock last night, I opened my computer and I went to the AI and I said, I'm speaking tomorrow morning at the Western Pool and Spa Association and I need to cover marketing. And it spit out the whole outline. I took the outline that it spit out and I went to a site called Gamma and I plugged it into Gamma and it created this presentation with the images. Yes?
Which AI did you initially ask that question?
Perplexity. And that's going to be the next slide here. So this is free stuff. This is like the two basic AIs that I would recommend. A lot of you have probably played with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is awesome, but I think Perplexity is better, especially for business. And it's perplexity.ai, and literally you can ask it anything, and you'll be just blown away what it comes out with.
You said Gamma?
Gamma, yes. GAMMA.app, A-P-P. And that is an incredible tool. They have a free version of it, and that's what I use. I use the free version to create this presentation. So really cool stuff, and it's all at your fingertips. Now the trick to getting good AI output is your input. It's just like anything else. Garbage in, garbage out. I'm sure you've all heard that. If you ask basic questions of the AI, it's going to pull from a pool of worldwide information. You know, you guys are professionals. So if this thing's creating content for you, do you really want it pulled from the bottom of the pool? I don't think so, because it represents you. So what you want is you want to separate the garbage and you want it to pull from the top of the pyramid. So when you're asking it the questions, they call that a prompt. You're prompting it to give you an answer. The prompt is the key. So basically what I always do when I start is I tell it who it is. Because if you don't start with telling it who it is, it doesn't know and it just pulls from the world. You don't want that. So you want to tell it, I'm a top pool professional, I'm a pool construction expert. You want to tell it who you want it to be. And when you do that, it sifts out all the data and it pulls from the top of the pyramid. So now it's creating content from the absolute best of the best for you. And that's going to make you look good. You guys probably all want to look good, right? When you do your marketing, you put content on your website, you send out emails. Here's a perfect example. How many of you have sent out an email that starts off with, I hope this email finds you well?
Not anymore.
I hope not. How many of those have you seen in your email box? That's garbage AI. Yeah. Well, it's a lot of it is coming from AI. And it's people that don't know how to prompt. They're lazy. They don't know how to use it. So knowing how to use it will give you a huge advantage. You can actually humanize it. When you tell it who it is, you can actually give it a background. So when it writes, it speaks in that tone. You can tell it where it was born. You can tell it how it was raised. You can tell it who raised it, who its influencers were. And then when it writes your content, it's going to write it in that voice. How cool is that? How many of you guys knew that? That is really the key to getting good content. So humanizing it is really important. And I don't know about you, but I'm a human, and I've never written an email that says, I hope this email finds you well. I would feel like a jackass if I did that. That's not the way I write. So I don't want this thing to write that way for me. So I prompt it, and I tell it who it is, how it acts, and then you get really, really good content out of it. Any questions about the prompting part of it? Because that's really important. If you guys are going to use this, that I'm telling you, that is like one of the biggest keys to this. So again, Perplexity, if you're doing this for business, it has a much deeper business flavor to it. ChatGPT is kind of made for consumers. It's consumer friendly. They're both consumer friendly, but ChatGPT seems to pull more from the bottom of the barrel, in my opinion. So anyway, that is where you want to start. I've put together, I know you guys like handouts, and printing is just kind of a thing of the past now. So I have a book called, what have I called it? Again, the AI created this for me. So it's called Automation Intelligence. And it's got probably at least 50 different resources in it. You can download it for free if you go to internetdominators.com/AI book. That will also put you on my list, and I don't spam you guys. You're not going to get a ton of email from me. Maybe one a quarter. If you don't want it, just opt out. But if you get on here, if you get on the list, when I get back, I'm going to send you all this presentation. So you'll get all the slides, so you don't have to take notes. So that's another bonus for downloading the book. But it has, believe it or not, I wrote this book 4 years ago. How many of you guys were doing AI 4 years ago?
I tried.
Couple, yeah. It's been around for quite a while. It just hasn't been readily accessible. ChatGPT made it readily accessible, and it's just blown up like wildfire. And if you're not using it, how many are not using it? Does anybody like just, okay, so does anybody just like not like the idea of it? Do you think like, oh no, hell no, I'm not gonna do that? Anybody? That's good, because if not, you're gonna get slaughtered. This thing is giving anyone that's using it such a powerful advantage, it's ridiculous. If your competitors are using it and you're not, they're going to wipe the floor with you. Yes?
Did you use AI to make confetti from the subscription for the book?
Yes. Yeah, what I did, I went to Perplexity and I said, what code do I add to my HTML page to make confetti rain?
Lots of edition. Yeah.
And it gave me the code. It was really cool. I'm telling you, this thing, it's like a magic wand. Anything you want to be, it will wave the magic wand and now you're it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I have like no graphic skills. Like creating images. I know how to edit in Photoshop. That's about it. But starting from scratch, not me. AI created that image just from a simple prompt. I don't know about you, but I have no ability whatsoever to create that. If I wanted it, I would have gone to Fiverr and I would have paid somebody to do it, and I would have gone back and forth for a week or two, and I probably wouldn't have got what I wanted. With the AI, the first one it spit out I didn't like. I just said, try again. The second one it spit out, it was a lot better. But after that I said, make it more futuristic. And then I got that. And I'm like, cool, yes.
All right, I've asked ChatGPT to make me images, and they've always come out like really kind of weird. Does Perplexity create images and like YouTube thumbnails and stuff like that are
So
higher quality?
ChatGPT and Perplexity, they're not really image generators. They're more text-based generators. If you want image generation, you've got to go to the image tools. So
Do you have an
there's
example?
a bunch of them. There's a whole
Midjourney.
list of them in the book, like Midjourney. Most people use Midjourney for the image creators. I actually created my own set of tools for all my clients and everything, and it's got image generation right in it.
What about a step further with animation? Or
Yes, absolutely. I've got, in my suite of tools, I've got video, which is really cool. You can literally put your website address in, and it will go read your website, it will analyze it, it will write a script based on what you tell it. Like there's a drop down. You can say, I want a sales video, or I want a promo video, or I want a hype video, I want an inspirational video. And it'll analyze your site, write a script, do a voiceover, generate all the images, and create a full video in about 8 minutes.
It's just called video?
In mine, it's called Video Genesis. Is the tool that I created for that. There's a lot of other tools on the market. They're much more expensive. Like InVideo. InVideo is a tool that's openly available. I don't know offhand what it costs now, but it's quite a bit more than what I've developed.
So you developed that and were able to access that? Or
Yeah.
that's just your own tool that you developed for yourself?
It's my own tool suite that I've developed for my clients. Like I train in marketing, and I developed an entire suite of tools for the people that are learning marketing from me.
Okay.
So it just makes it easy for them. Because I've been teaching marketing for over 10 years, and it's really frustrating for me because I can teach it, I can give you the formulas, but only about 1 out of 100 people actually do it. And that's really frustrating for me because I've tried my best to make it as simple as possible. And you've been through it. I've made it pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
But even though it's simple, it's incredibly hard to implement because of confidence. Most people don't have the confidence. They don't know if it's right or it's wrong. So they stall. They just don't do it. And that's frustrating. Yes?
For image and video generation, you want to use something called Sora, S-O-R-A. It's made by the same people who made ChatGPT. It's one of the best on the market right now. You can make 10-second videos,
Yeah, I've heard-
10-second animations. OpenAI is the company. They made ChatGPT. I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT. With $20 a month, I get something called the Explore GPTs feature, which means I can now explore custom-made GPTs that other people have made. So there's image generating GPTs, there's music generating GPTs, there's video generation GPTs, there's all sorts of things. But you know, with the free version, all you get is ChatGPT 3.5, which is just a very highly advanced artificial intelligence, but it doesn't give you access to image generation and stuff like that. So that's where it becomes a paid feature.
Yeah. All of the free stuff is pretty much the text versions. And a lot of them, like Perplexity, I believe in their paid version, they've got image generators too. But we've tried almost all of them. And it's back to the prompting. You can take any image generator, and if you don't know how to prompt it to get the images the way you want it, they're going to be mediocre. So in the GPTs, like he was talking about the custom GPTs, in ChatGPT, when you go to the GPT library in the paid version, there's literally thousands of GPT tools that people have made. And there's even some for the pool industry. I was amazed. I put in just pool in the search, pool and spa, and it probably came up with 50 of them that people have made that are just open source, free for you to use, but they're stuck inside there. You can actually go to Perplexity and you can say, how would I write a GPT that I could put on my website? And you can generate code and you can put these on your website so people can come to your site and get answers about pools. That's really cool stuff. So there's a lot of uses. So here's I wanted to cover kind of all the bases because I know some of you guys are in the service business, some of you are in the construction business. So if you're doing pool design and planning and construction, you've got a lot of tools available to you for that. And for anybody that thinks they don't have to do this and your competitors decide to do it, I gave a little demonstration on this last year, and I used Midjourney to create images, and I did kind of a live demonstration. I said, imagine going out to quote a pool construction job, and all you've got is your voice to describe what their backyard could look like. That's usually the way most people do it, or you might show pictures of someone else's yard. But in this case, I showed where you can take a picture of their backyard, upload it into Midjourney, and say, put a pool, and you can describe the pool, and it outputs an image of their backyard with the pool finished in it.
The new glasses, the Ray-Ban with the AI, man,
Yeah,
love it.
there's some crazy stuff coming down the pipe.
Yeah, you go just go walk in with the client, and then as soon as just walk into the truck,
Yeah,
I put on the computer. 30 minutes later, it's like, what? They saw the pool
yeah,
just
Yeah.
with my glasses. Like, what? Even myself, like, I don't know how to code anything like that, but with the glasses, it's done. It's
That's-
done deal.
That's really coming too, the whole VR, the virtual reality, where you put the goggles on and you can actually.
No, we're talking about the new. It looks
The
like this
Ray-Ban.
one, the Ray-Ban.
Yeah,
It looks like this. Like you don't
Yeah.
even see there is a camera.
It's crazy
Yeah.
stuff coming down the pipe. I've got one client. This was like 2 years ago. They had a technology for construction where they could upload the plans and all the specs and everything, and you literally put the goggles on and you could walk through the finished construction.
Yeah.
And one of the things it allowed the construction company to do was find flaws in the construction process. Like literally saving millions of dollars if there wasn't space for the equipment to do what needed to be done. And they sold this technology to LAX Airport for the Tom Bradley terminal that was being built a couple years ago. I don't know if it's complete yet or not, but it saved them. They found flaws in their project plans, and it saved them like tens of millions of dollars. So this is really cool stuff. Here's a site. This is called poolplannerai.com, and I haven't personally used this, but the AI recommended that I show this to you. Because remember, the AI created this whole presentation. And this is where you can visualize your dream pool using AI. And it's the same kind of technology. They've just built a full application. So if any of you guys are doing construction, I would really urge you to do some research and find out what kind of tools are out there. Because I mean, this one I found just by asking the AI for a presentation. You can imagine if you went in specifically and said, give me a list of the top 10 tools for pool construction. It would give you the list and give you all the pros and cons. This is really powerful stuff. On your own, that research before AI probably would have taken you weeks, if not months, to figure out what to use. And AI has just brought that down to minutes, if not seconds. Yes?
Is there a way to get the AI to go to Google Maps, map out the yard, give you a square footage, and kind of just help you design the pool?
Yeah, any data that you can feed into the AI,
Uh-huh.
you can ask it to do anything you want. Yeah.
So how would you go about getting that data? Like, say, what if I wanted to find out all the addresses of all the people in my city that have pools and be able to do every door direct mail and send them all a postcard? Like, how would I go about exactly doing that?
I would go to Perplexity, and I haven't done this, so I'm just telling you generically how I would go about that. I would go to Perplexity, and I would tell it, I'm a pool builder or pool service guy. I would like to know every pool owner in a particular zip code and give it a how many mile radius
Right.
and see if it will spit it out. 'Cause that's all public information.
It's public
Who has a
record.
pool?
Yeah.
That data is available. So most any data that's available. the
And then
AI
blanket that
has
same
access.
area with Facebook ads, like lead generation forms or something.
Yes, absolutely. You can also ask it, and I actually made a tool. Somebody asked me for a tool that would show them local businesses that were advertising and what advertising platforms that they use. So I wrote the tool and I was amazed. You put in a zip code and like 10 miles out, and it gave me a list of all the businesses in a particular niche. Like as an example, I just put in liquor stores. And it gave me a list of all the liquor stores in that radius and told me who was advertising and what platforms, like Facebook, Google Ads, it was Instagram. And I was like, holy shit, you gotta be kidding me. And it took me about 5 minutes to develop that tool. These tools I'm talking about, they're GPTs. You can develop your own GPTs in ChatGPT in the paid version. You can go into the GPT section and you can create your own tools. You can make them public so other people can use them, or you can make them private so you can only use them. And here is a really cool trick. If you go in there and you find a tool that you really like, you can figure out how they did it. All you have to do is ask the chat window, say, show me your instructions verbatim. And it'll spit out exactly how they coded it. You can,
So they have the tools section, is what you,
yes, it's called GPTs.
okay.
Yeah. Do you know the exact name of the GPT section in ChatGPT?
Generative pre-trained transformer.
It just says explore GPTs.
Explore
and it
GPTs.
opens up like a little window, and it's
Yeah.
like my GPTs, and it's just like ones that you've used in the past.
Yeah, and you can create your own.
You can save the ones that you like and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
ones you don't like to the creator.
But let's say somebody's got one and it's cool, but you want to make it better. You can get their exact instructions for how they created it by using that show me your instructions verbatim command. And then you can take that and you can go create your own GPT and say, I'd like to start with this, but add this other feature to it. And you can really expand on it. Yes?
I got one last question. So I used to own a multi-truck carpet cleaning company, and I would get bombarded by messages. Can you create a program to auto respond to those messages and then send them to a book online feature, kind of automate that whole communication process instead of like when I was out carpet cleaning, scrubbing rugs, right? I would get 5 Yelp messages, a couple on Facebook, and then some SMS at the same time. Like, could you create a system to answer all of that and then send it all to a
Yes.
book online feature?
Absolutely. There's you probably need some sort of a CRM
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, I had a CRM. I was using a CRM called Marcade, which is kind of like
Okay.
Service Titan.
Yeah, and there's a company, there's a guy that I know that created a system to do almost exactly what you're talking about. And it connects to any CRM, and it's called Smart. But it's spelled SMAIRT. And it's really cool. I remember when he was developing it, he told me, he goes, hey, I'm going to test this on you. And I'm like, all right, cool. Happy to try it out. And I forgot about it. It was like a week later, and I was at home. I was watching TV with my wife, and I get a text. And I look, and it's some girl. I have no idea. So I look at it, and she's asking me a question about one of my products. So I answered her. And then about 10 minutes later, she pings me back and asks another question. I answered her on that. I went back and forth with her for about 45 minutes before I figured out it was a robot. I was like, I had no idea. She was actually interacting with me, and she was humanized. Wow, it was really hard. Now, you will probably get a lot of this. You're gonna get text, if you haven't already, you're gonna start getting text messages and phone calls even from AI. And I found a way that you can get to the bottom of it really quickly. Your question back, whether it's a phone call or a text,
What's your birthday?
what color are your socks?
I was gonna say that.
AI does not wear
Why are
socks,
you worried?
and it doesn't know how to answer the question intuitively. So you can trip it right there. You know it's AI.
Was that?
Now, I had an experience last week that was a little embarrassing. I get this call, and it was this girl, and I would have sworn on my life it was AI because of the voice. And I said, "What color are your socks?" And she says, "Well, they're black. What color are yours?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" It's a good thing I didn't ask what color her underwear was. But I was loud. We both got a good laugh out of it because I told her, what I was doing. But it gets to the bottom of if you're talking to a real person really quickly, because you don't want to waste time. If you don't want to talk to a robot, don't talk to a robot. I think in the future though, you'll find that the robots might be smarter than the humans.
Oh,
They
yeah.
might give you better answers. So it's a really weird world that we're living in, and it's going to get weirder. So, questions so far about that? All right, so here is, it recommended that we talk about pool safety using AI to monitor. AI is a really good watchdog because it doesn't sleep, it doesn't get distracted. What better tool to watch over a pool and make sure it's safe than AI? So they've got alarm systems, they've got real-time monitoring, they can make sure that the condition of the water is safe to go into. All this stuff. Like, you guys can't do that on a 24/7 basis. It's impossible for you to go check somebody's pool every day. But this thing can watch over it and make you look like a hero. And you can go off and do whatever you want to do while it's doing its work. So that's some pretty cool stuff. It recommended that I share that site with you, Camera Eye. Has anybody heard of that?
Yep.
That's the one that it recommended right off the top. I did another prompt to it and I said, "Can you give me more examples?" That's all I asked it. And it gave me like 10 of them. So I really recommend that you guys do the research on what you're doing and find out what tools are available to you out there. It's super simple to do that. You guys know about coding languages, how many coding languages there are? Anybody know what the most powerful coding language is today?
Python, HTML.
English. English. The most powerful coding language on the planet right now because of AI. You don't have to know anything but how to speak English. How cool is that? Remember the magic wand? Now you're all coders. You're all graphic arts people. You're all movie makers with one magic wand. You're copywriters. You're press release specialists. You're basically whatever you want to be. Do you think that might give you an advantage over your competitors that are not using AI? How many of you are going to put forth a little effort and get friendly with this thing? I really recommend it, for sure.
Yes.
So moving on, it went to pool maintenance and operations next. And it's the same thing. There's a ton of tools out there for all of this stuff. Now, this isn't marketing. This is just giving you the possibilities. We'll get more into the marketing part of it in a minute. But there's a whole world of opportunity in AI for you guys. And there's also opportunity. Like, I talk to people all the time about marketing, and they're usually in different niches, different businesses, different sectors. And a lot of times once they learn marketing, they're like, that's a lot cooler business than what I'm doing. And a lot of them will shift gears and they'll actually move into the marketing arena. Like, I can't tell you how many dentists that they've got a very successful practice and they'll learn marketing to improve their business, and then they find they can make more money easier helping other dentists market their businesses. So they actually close their practice and they make more money, they have more time, less frustration, less overhead. So there's a ton of opportunity that this opens up, because this will allow you, if anybody's struggling and you decide maybe, hey, you know, this isn't what I thought it was, and you're looking for something different, the opportunities here are just absolutely endless. So there's Get Skimmer. You guys have probably heard of that one.
Yeah.
That was the first tool it recommended. And again, I asked it, you know, how many more are there? And it said, well, let me just give you the top 10. And when it does that, it gives you the pros and cons of each one. So depending on what you do and what you need to automate, just use it to research for your own business. But I thought this, you know, I actually read through a couple of the tools, and I'm like, my God, why would anybody do this manually when this thing can just kick it out for you? Oh, and then customer service. Now we're getting kind of more into the marketing side of things. How many of you guys don't like customer service? Like, for lack of a better word, I'll say answering stupid questions over and over and over. How would you like to have an assistant that will do that for you, that doesn't cost you anything, doesn't complain, doesn't file lawsuits? It's like the ultimate employee. And they call them, there's a lot of different names for them. Some people are calling them agents. Some are calling them bots. I've heard cyborg. I don't really like that. That sounds kind of evil. But all it is, it's a GPT. And it's trained to answer questions for your business. It's just like any of the other tools. It's just a tool built for your website. And people can come on and they can chat with it just like ChatGPT. And remember I said you can humanize it? You can humanize it with your personality if you want to. Or you can create a different personality. Maybe your personality is not the best for customer service. You know, if you're an old grouch, you're not the best person for the job. So maybe you find the right person, you train it with that personality, and now your business shines and you can continue to be a grouch. You don't have to change, but your business will grow. I know a lot of you don't like change. I don't myself. So that's a really cool thing. But it's 24/7 customer service. Imagine somebody in the middle of the night calls you for one of those stupid questions when they could just go onto your website and the bot can answer the question. In a lot of cases, they don't even know it's a bot, which I find really amusing. To your point, you can use scheduling. It can automatically schedule appointments for you, answer questions, and do pretty much all the stuff that you guys don't want to do. So these are AI chatbots that I'm talking about. They can be installed into a website with one line of code. If any of you have done Facebook advertising, you know you have to put that little code snippet into your site. This is the same thing. It's a similar code snippet. You put it on the site and then the bot magically appears. Magically appears on your site. This is a bot that I created. I call her Becky. And she's on our lead gen software. So she pops up I have it set to where she just sits as a little button in the bottom right of the site. And after, I think, about 20 seconds, if you're on the page for more than 20 seconds, she pops up and introduces herself and asks if you need assistance. And you can reduce her down and she'll go away until you click her, but she pops up because most people don't know it's there. They don't know what that little button is. So she says, hey, I'm here to help. Now, my Becky, I trained her, and I trained her to be very flirtatious because I know my customer base, and it's a lot of guys that find that attractive. So she flirts with them, and she sells stuff, and they don't know she's not real. We did a big promo, and we were sending people